very interesting guest this time. Is Marco from Plausible Analytics. I have been following Plausible as a team from a long time, and yeah, pretty much like how they present themselves, what they do. Even though I got exposed to them on Twitter, but they seem to be really doing great things. Their content is great. So I thought like I should really request Marco. He has been super kind to me, and he has given me his slot. And I just want to ask him a few questions which might be useful for others. Marco, thanks so much for making time and giving an opportunity to talk to me. I just want to know to begin with, where are you from? What's your background? If you just can put a two-liner there, it would just be a good head start for this program.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on, Girish. I am based in Belgium. My background is in marketing, and yeah, Plausible Analytics is my first venture into being a co-founder and working on an open source project as well.
Fantastic. So the one question which has been there with me is like this is a question which is very interesting. Like, you were prepared and the opportunity presented itself and things happened. So how much of this is like preparation which was done pretty much early in your career, where you could see this opportunity and just snap it off and just build a proper tool or utility for the audience there? So if you could explain more on that, and that would be my first question, because that it seems something like Plausible is well prepared. It really caters to an audience and it knows its audience very well. So how did this journey come about?
Yeah, I mean, I guess both me and my co-founder Uku, we're part of this audience. We both worked with websites. We both were aware of GDPR and how all those cookie consent banners and GDPR consent works and how it affects websites, both from the side of like the visitor, but also from the side of the site owner, business owner. And yeah, both of us were also a bit like, oh, Google is not really making all the best decisions these days. They've kind of gone away from what they used to be a few years ago. So yeah, basically all this combined made it that we kind of fit with what a lot of other people think right now at the moment. So by building something that we agree about, by building something that works for us and that helps us, also means that we are reaching a decent amount of people as well that kind of have the same issues, same opinions, same kind of thinking about Google and the wider kind of privacy first space in general. So yeah, I mean, I guess you can say that our past, rather it was not really preparation for Plausible, but it has helped us be ready and kind of get the best out of the situation right now. So yeah.
Got it. So that's an interesting insight, which also leads to me to ask the next question. Like, you really wanted to start a business or solve your problem, and then you saw an opportunity, so you wanted to help others, right? So you pretty much were part of businesses earlier, what you were trying to be part of, and in your earlier career. So do you always feel like a founder or a starter should use his own niche and know about that domain to start a business, or is there some learning or preparation required?
Yeah, I mean, perhaps it's not required to know much about what you're doing, but it definitely helps. So if you know what the problems are, what the issues are, what people are struggling with, then it's much easier for you to come in and serve those needs. So I would definitely say that you should be aware of the niche you're going into. You should have experience with it. Most probably you should have passion for it, because without all those things, you might go and try things, but if things don't go your way, you might quit very quickly, or you might not be able to put 100% into things that you're not really passionate about or you don't care much about. So yeah, you can probably go and just do random stuff that you don't care about and hope it works. But I'm quite sure that it really works in your favor and gives you much higher chances of success if you actually care and have experience with and have some expertise about and are passionate about what you're gonna do.
Got it. How did you both co-founders meet actually? I mean, like you come from a marketing background and your other founder is tech background, I suppose. So how did this match happen?
Yeah. So basically, my co-founder, he started developing Plausible in, I think, late 2018. And then he released it around mid 2019, and he got the first subscribers and so on. And then around the early 2020, it was like, I cannot see much. There's no traction. Things are not moving. The product is there. The development side, design side is fine, but the kind of marketing side, like just spreading the word out, it's going very slow for him, and he's not really doing much. So he went out looking for a co-founder actually. A marketing co-founder, so you could basically focus on development, design, and somebody else could come in and focus on communication and blog posts and social media and everything else. So he ended up seeing one of my blog posts, I believe on Twitter, and I wrote something about Google Analytics alternatives. And he thought the way I wrote, the topic I wrote about, what I cared about, really fit with what he's working on, what he cares about, what he's passionate about, and what we kind of need for Plausible. So he reached out and proposed, that he's got this tool that he's working on and that he needs help. So I checked it out. I really liked the design. I immediately understood the need for such a tool, and I'm able to saw opportunity where I can, with my experience and my kind of passion, help him to kind of bring it forward. So yeah, basically he reached out, just cold email, you can say. We did not know each other. We never spoke to each other. Just one day, I think early 2020, I got an email in my inbox from Uku, and that's how it started. And yeah, we made a lot of progress since then for sure.
Yeah. So this is the next question. So the question is, you pretty much were already creating your presence on the internet through your blogs, and it pretty much helps just like whatever match happened to you, right? Like it is a random thing on an internet where someone sees your blog and he approaches you and the match happens. So how much has content played a major role? Because I think that's a very valid question for Plausible, because your content is on fire every time. I mean, like I see it's well explained. The reason I'm asking this and why I asked the last question was because it leads to this story, right? Like how much your online presence really matters and what is the kind of content you're putting out there, and are you planning anything, or it can't just be like I will get up and write something. There has to be a strategy. There is a well thought strategy there. So just walk us through that thinking process, not entirely, but just so that it helps others also to understand how we should really think about content and what actually marketing point should be, which is not too much like in your face, but it pretty much gives value.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked in marketing for now 15 years, online marketing only, and I've worked in lots of different companies and startups. So I have experience from different sides of marketing. And for me, in most cases, I believe starting with organic, even if you have tons of money to spend, starting with organic marketing, such as content marketing or social media, is the kind of the base you should really push and try to experiment with, try to get some experience with, try and see how it works out. Because I believe content is much more kind of the value for money you get from content versus ads is so much higher because of people helping you spread the word. So I've published blog posts for 15 years now on my blog and blogs for companies I've worked for. So for me, it was also natural to start from that direction with Plausible, and also considering that we're bootstrapped and self-funded, so there was no money to say, oh, let me go and spend 10,000 on Google ads and target people there, or Facebook ads or whatever. So there was none of that, none of those resources. So content what I know how to do was also what's the kind of most appropriate fit for Plausible. So I think I joined, I think March 2020. I took a look at the homepage. I added some like feature pages that basically to explain what Plausible is about. That maybe took a couple of weeks, and then in like early April, I was like, okay, let's get started with the first real blog post. You know, not about features, not about Plausible, but more about something relevant in general. And I ended up writing a post about why you should remove Google Analytics from your website. Just was not promoting Plausible. We were just listing, I think, 7-8 reasons why Google Analytics might not be the best solution. And yeah, that went great. Hacker News, Reddit, Twitter, and so on, and that kind of changed the traction for us. And then we just continued that way. You know, since then, I don't know, we probably published something like 1 blog post per week. It slowed down in the recent months because we're very busy with, you know, just in Plausible in general, all the growth we've had. But I would say in general, the first year or so was 1 post per week, something like that. And it was not posts such as, oh, just come to Plausible, we're the best ever. You know, we don't publish those types of posts. It's more like we're looking at what's happening out there, what the people have problems with, what questions people have, what's happening in the wider privacy, GDPR, analytics market. And then we're just publishing posts on those topics from our perspective. So we've published on everything such as, you know, when Chrome made some changes to the referral header, which changes how your sources look like in any analytics tool. We published content on that. Then when Google Analytics made some change to say that flock thing they announced, then we published content on that. Then we released a new feature to track 404 error messages and like outbound link clicks. And then we had to publish content on that, like why is that useful? How do you normally do it? How Plausible makes it easier? So yeah, basically, I guess there is some kind of strategy there, but it's not like I can say, okay, 3 months down the line, we will publish this 3 posts. No, it doesn't work like. It's more like we take it 1 post at a time when it's the most relevant. And a lot of the time we end up reacting to the news. Like Google does this bad thing, we react to it and we say it how it is. So you kind of have to be aware of what's happening on the wider market, what the audience is thinking about, and so on, what problems are there, and then kind of plan your content according to that. And yeah, as long as you're kind of answering questions people have, you're kind of providing value to the audience first, rather than promoting yourself first. I think that's the approach, and that's the kind of, it will get you, closer. And now, what, we have maybe 50 blog posts or so published over the last year and a half. And yeah, now we have a decent archive. People can read those, share them in social media. They find them in search results, organic search results. So that kind of archive is now working for us, that we're getting, pretty much every month is now a new record in Google organic search to our site and things like that. So yeah, I think this kind of approach of publishing content that people want, and then doing it consistently over a longer period of time, it kind of really pays off. Pays off immediately if you're lucky in social media and communities, but also in the long run, it pays off through extra traffic, extra ways you can be discovered in search engines and so on.
Yeah, I could clearly sense like you pretty much know the value of what you just explained there, because content really plays an important role. So you use different platforms to really distribute your content, right? So I think Twitter has helped you a lot, by any chance, or has there been any other platforms? Just give some details, that's all. I mean, like, no intention, just yeah.
There's one blog post that we published last year where we go through all the list of our top referral sources. So that one has all of them one by one and how we deal with each of them. But the top one there would be Hacker News. We are a product, very much a technical product. So the interest from Hacker News audience and what we do are kind of very aligned. So that was a natural one. We have early on, we spent a lot of time in indie hackers, which is a nice little community for people like starting out in this, entrepreneurial journeys, creating their own apps and sites and products and so on. There's a lot of like a kind of a nice community vibe and people helping each other. So that's where a lot of our traffic early on came from. Like Twitter and Reddit and sites like that are more by us growing and by us getting the word out to more people, then people know about our content and they share it. So if I share it through my Twitter account, that's probably won't get too many clicks. But the difference is when, you know, hundreds of other people share something, then it starts getting a large volume of clicks. So I think what happens now compared to early last year is that we have a much larger audience all across Twitter, you know, GitHub, just in general. Plausible is more well known. So now what we publish now, I kind of don't really do much. Maybe I share to my Twitter and that's about it. And then somebody picks it up and like, okay, this is nice post. Let me put it on Reddit or let me put it on Hacker News. So this kind of active promotional aspect has kind of changed in the last year compared to the year before. And now I'm like, I just publish the best content I can, maybe share it quickly on Twitter. And then, you know, if it's good enough, there should be a few eyeballs on it. And some of them might be like, okay, let me share this somewhere else because I think other people should know about it. So that's pretty much how it happens these days.
Super, really super. So how is the headcount now? Are you like a very small, tiny team still, or you're planning to grow, or how are the days, and how is your growth looking? Because I always see the graph in the upper.
Yeah.
So I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know, we're lucky and good timing or whatever, but we've been growing pretty much consistently since I joined. We were at about 400 MRR in April last year. So now, what, a year and a half later, we're at 40,000 something MRR.
Wow.
And that's, you know, like you say, two full-time founders. And now, I think 2 months ago, we hired like a first, and it's not even a full-time, it's a part-time employee to help us a bit with customer support and so on. So I guess we're 2.5 people currently. And yeah, I mean, it's just been amazing journey. And yeah, I mean, we haven't hit any kind of issues. It's just the growth continues. It just continues kind of, we keep doing what we're doing and keep improving the product and keep communicating with people. And then it's like, depending on how people feel, you know, and we're lucky enough that a lot of people that end up trialing Plausible end up liking it, and then end up liking it so much that they're like happy to share it with, you know, their friends and the network and social media connections. So that kind of, we just continue amplifying our reach and keep getting, you know, 1,000 or so trials every month. Thanks to all these different activities we do and all the people that, you know, that share the word for us. And yeah, it's just been amazing until now.
God, really, what do you say? Like, this is the best example for a bootstrap company, and what you guys are achieving. I hope there would be more success for you guys. If you want to really share one last thing for the audience out there who are starting out or who are seeing to really start a SaaS business or a MicroSaaS business, what would be your advice? What would you want to tell to them? And any tidbits, please share it with them.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an urge and like a need to do something about this, yeah, go do it. I mean, I would say I'm not like one of those advice like quit your job and just go do things. No, I would just do it on the side. I mean, you have a few hours every evening after your job. You have a few hours in the weekends, holidays, whatever. You know, put a couple hours every night or a couple hours every Saturday and Sunday, and start building something. And most importantly, start releasing to the public. You know, don't go and like, you know, spend 6 months trying to build something. You know, build something in 1 or 2 weeks, hopefully. Release the minimum thing out there and try to communicate with people. Spread it on different forums where people hang out, people that are interested in what you're building. Share it, get feedback, improve, and then you'll slowly see if there's like a potential in this idea. Are people responding? Do you see any kind of results? And then you can kind of accommodate those that feedback you get and kind of change your approach according to it. So yeah, I would say if you're really interested in this, there's nothing really to lose. Just spend a bit of your free time, start doing it, get feedback, change according to the feedback, and just iterate like that and see where it takes you. Because yeah, it's an amazing opportunity in general, to start building websites and apps and products in the cloud or just on the internet. It's just amazing time for it. So go for it, try it out, see how far your luck takes you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for spending this short time with me. I'm pretty sure you have shared some tidbits, which is definitely useful for me as I am also building a MicroSaaS product. I pretty much would definitely learn from your blogs also. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks for listening. You can follow Marco on Twitter. I'll just definitely put his details when I publish this interview with him. And pretty much you should follow him because I have been seeing he even takes time off. He's not that founder who just pretty much goes at it. He has a pretty interesting aspect of living life completely. So I think go follow him. And thanks so much, Marco. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you, Girish.
And really appreciate you spending your time with us. Thank you, guys.